Cowboys, Eagles, biggest game of the season, the number 1 seed in the NFC East. It is on the line, at least for a day. Who needs to win more, Cowboys, Eagles?
It's got to be the Eagles. We got to bounce back. I mean, AJ just said it perfectly. They want what's on our plate.
Talk about it.
I mean, the Niners might have got a little bit of something to drink. Took a little drink from us, but they ain't take the food. Yeah. We still are number 1 in our division. We're still number 1 in the seeding for the NFC. Yeah. And we can't let that thing slip. And I think the best way to respond from a butt whooping, I don't want to say the other word, but the butt whooping, is to respond in a big way. Why not go to Dallas? Who don't want to play in Dallas? I love playing in Dallas. Right? Everybody's talking about how Dak Prescott is, in the conversation of MVP, and he's playing the best at any other quarterbacks. Well, why not go there and shut that down on defense, right? You let the 49ers go up and down the field, and you couldn't stop them at all. Okay, cool. So let's go to another good offense, and let's stop them. And then for the Philadelphia Eagles on offense, Jalen Hurts, he hasn't played well really all season, right? Really good moments at times, but not playing well. Why not go to Dallas against that defense and ball out? Yeah. And when you talk about a response, a bounce back, and we sit here and we talk about the power rankings, this and the third, and we go to Dallas and we beat them boys, right? In convinced fashion, domination, you got to respect us and put us back where we deserve to be at, on top of the mountain.
Why do the Eagles need to win more? You told me that they need to win more, but you've been in those locker rooms before. You've walked those halls. You've played in Lincoln Financial Field. You've played in AT&T Stadium, Jerry World. You've played there. Yeah. Why do the Eagles need to win more?
It's all about the response. You can't go at home and get blown out by a really, really good team, and you're a really, really good team. Who's better? We couldn't really tell. Now we know that the Niners is better right now. So why not go to Dallas, a same opponent, right? Probably not as good as the Niners, but really, really good. A lot of star powers. And we're in the same division. I think it's all about confidence. And even when you are an established team with good coaching and veteran players, you still can gain even more confidence. Yeah. If we win this game, this will be a confidence boost for us. I like it. Going forward.
Yeah, you can't give up your cornbread.
No.
I'll keep that.
You eat your cornbread.
I'm gonna eat this cornbread.
Yeah, that go with everything.
You want your butter?
Yes, all of it. You have to come take it. The butter, the cornbread, the juice, all of it. And the Eagles will give that up if they lose to the Cowboys this weekend. Not just metaphorically speaking, not just with power rankings, but they could lose control of the NFC, potentially the division. So the stranglehold that they've had on the NFC all season long is very quickly could slip away, which sounds crazy because it was just a done deal for most of the season. But that's where they are right now. So you want to stay in the position that you're in right now, which is the top of the NFC. Yeah. The reason that Niners game mattered was because if you compound losses, it's going to cause a problem with the rankings. So you need, and not our rankings, forget about our rankings. Who cares about what we put on the screen or what we think? It's about having a home field advantage. Yeah. And listen, we don't talk about it because there's no point, really. You're out on the field. You are expected to play at the highest level. But Jalen Hurts isn't himself. So if you want to have some time at the end of the season to rest him, which was very helpful last season, if you remember, that was crucial for the Eagles to have that time for him to rest and get right. They care about the postseason. Yes, the regular season matters because you want to have the bye, because you want to win the division, because you want to win the NFC. But their aspirations are for the postseason. And they're going to need that man to be healthy in order to do that. So, yes, this matters as far as your morale goes. Yes, it matters for confidence. Yes, it matters for power rankings. But what it really matters for is at the end of the season, you want to be able to not be chasing something. You want to be the chased. And if you're the chased, that means you have some flexibility at the end of the season to rest guys, to get guys right for the postseason run, which will be hard.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. It's interesting for me, James Jones, because the Eagles need to win more because of expectations. Imagine after all this talk, all the chirping from Eagles all-time rushing leaders, from Eagles players, from Eagles fans, from Eagles analysts, you look up after 14 weeks, and the Cowboys and the Eagles got the exact same record. Exact same record. That'd be a shame. Because from everything everyone has said about the Cowboys and the Eagles, they're not on the same playing field. And then when they were on the same playing field in the link, November 5th, they weren't on the same playing field because the Eagles won. So imagine after all that talk, they the same team. After all that, Jalen Hurts is so much better than Dak Prescott. They're the same quarterback. After all that, the Cowboys are so much worse than the Eagles. They got the same record. If indeed the Cowboys win, they would be the number 1 seed in the NFC East on Monday, the day after that game. So the real reason that the Eagles need to win, for my money, is all this talk, all this expectations, all this chirping. Cowboys and Eagles not the same team. That's what I was told. Last year, after 14 weeks, Cowboys were 10-3. But the Eagles were 12-1. Now the Eagles have descended from the heavens, and now they just like you, Cowboys. So the Eagles have to prove they are still on a different level.
Yeah. I'm on the other side.
Where you at, big dog?
I'm with the Dallas Cowboys. I look at the Philadelphia Eagles, and I look at Jalen Hurts. You beat Josh Allen. You beat Tua. You beat Patty. And you beat Dak. Dak, you beat Geno. Right? All we keep saying is the Dallas Cowboys have not beaten anybody. But the Dallas Cowboys is talked about like they are about to win the Super Bowl the way they are playing. Yep. CeeDee Lamb, 10 catches, 150 yards, 3 straight weeks. Dak Prescott playing at an MVP level. And they still have not consistently beat the good football teams. And this is your opportunity to do that. You are at home. The last time you played this team, you lost. So it should mean more to you this game because they beat you during the season. You watched that Niners game, it meant more to the Niners. A.J. Brown said that. They came out with more urgency. They came out ready to go because it meant a little more to them. You guys ended our season last year. Dak Prescott has already lost to Jalen Hurts this year. Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys have only beaten one winning football team this year. It's this very simple. This is all about the Dallas Cowboys. If you are a true playoff contender and a team that's supposed to have an opportunity to win a Super Bowl, you have to get this one done. You cannot walk off the field at home in this game and we talking about there the Cowboys go again. They ain't beat a winning team. You can't walk off the field like that, and you're supposed to be one of these teams we're talking about at getting to that Super Bowl.
What will that do to your opinion of the Dallas Cowboys this year if they do not beat the Philadelphia Eagles, thus go 0-2 versus the Eagles, lose to the Niners? Yeah. What does that do to your opinion of the Cowboys?
It does everything to me because I truly won't believe in the Dallas Cowboys like that anymore. I truly won't think Dak Prescott's the MVP if you don't get this one done. You at home. You are playing really good football right now. You are hot. You have won 14 straight at home. Right? And then you come in and you let the Philadelphia Eagles beat you off of a really, really bad loss and off of a season where they ain't played their best football all season long. And we could turn on the tape and say, yep, the Dallas Cowboys played their best football that day. They played their best football that day. So for me, this changes a lot for me. I will be on here on Monday like, Shady, you was right. Dak Prescott ain't no MVP. Joy, you was right. Dak ain't no MVP. You know, CeeDee Lamb, is he like that? It's going to be all that. This is big for the Dallas Cowboys. They got to answer them questions.
I think there's more pressure this weekend on Jalen Hurts, honestly. I mean, it depends on what you want from this game. Jalen has pressure on him because the Eagles' expectations are about their season. Their expectations are about the postseason. Their aspirations are to get back to the Super Bowl. They know what it's like to get to the Super Bowl. This Dallas Cowboys team, as it's currently constructed, don't know what that's like. They don't know what it's like to play an NFC Championship game, let alone a Super Bowl. So to me, this is the game that's going to determine what they are right now. How do you bounce back from a loss like the 49ers? Do you show up? Do you make the play to shut down the season series against Dallas and end all this Cowboys hype? Do you show that you're separate from the Dallas Cowboys for real, like a lot of people think that you are? Are you truly on another level? Because the aspirations for the Eagles aren't individual awards. Now, if you're talking about Dak Prescott's MVP, sure, there's more pressure on Dak Prescott in that sense. But the Eagles want to keep control. I shouldn't say keep control of the NFC, and that's going to be on Jalen Hurts.
I think the pressure's more on Dak. I mean, just from everything you heard about him so far is that he's playing at an MVP level. He's playing at the best quarterback in football. That's some great things to say about Dak Prescott.
It is.
I think I've never imagined me ever saying that. Even saying it today is like kind of tough, right? But he is really playing well. So when you talk about this team, I think he's that piece to bring them to the promised land. Because the way they've been playing is they've been playing through him. Earlier in the season, it was like a small game plan, conservative offense. Now it's like more with Dak, do your thing, empty sets, all type of things, and that's pressure because you got a team like the Philadelphia Eagles that just got beat, and in Dallas you should win. Every time you play at home, you smoke teams. You smoke them, right? All type of packs. You smoke everything. So you should be better to beat the Eagles if they come into your house. Yeah. And it just got smoked by the Niners. So you got a wounded team, right? You call them wounded? Yep. The Eagles are wounded.
Talk about it too.
They come to Dallas. Dak Prescott's been playing great. Dallas got a good defense. CeeDee Lamb is playing like a top 5, top 3 receiver. The pressure got to be on them. They supposed to win this game. Y'all trying to creep up and back into the race as far as for the division? So I think all them things combined, man, is a reason why the pressure's on Dak and the Cowboys to win this game.
Interesting conversation here because I'm actually going to go on the side of Jalen having more pressure. And the reason I think Jalen has more pressure is because never in life do you want to give up your greatest attribute.
What's that?
If somebody's with you just because you're wealthy, you don't want to start losing your money. If you were somebody just because they're attractive, you better be hesitant to start getting less attractive because you don't ever want to lose your greatest attribute. Jalen Hurts' greatest attribute is he's a winner. That's it. We talk about that every day on this show. But they win. But he wins. We don't often talk about Jalen Hurts' cerebral processor. We don't often talk about Jalen Hurts' incredibly strong arm. We don't necessarily talk about Jalen Hurts, how he glides across the field with his legs. We talk about Tua's processor. We talk about Lamar's ability to run. We talk about Josh Allen's arm. But with Jalen Hurts, what we exclusively talk about is his ability to win. He is a better winner for my money than just about anybody not named Patrick Mahomes in the National Football League. But what happens when you start losing? So the wealthy man, what happens when you start losing money? If they only with you for your wealth and you start going broke, there's a problem. And if Jalen Hurts is an incredible winner, but you lose 2 games in a row, there's going to start to become a problem because your greatest attribute is your ability to win. So now if you start losing, I start to be concerned. Jalen Hurts hasn't lost back-to-back games, if I'm not mistaken, since maybe the 2021 season. So the reason he has more pressure is because his greatest attribute is on the line, and that's winning, which nobody does like him besides Mahomes.
I got to ride with my dog Shady on this one. And the main reason why is, where did Jalen Hurts go last year?
Super
Bowl.
How well did he play? Really well. What is Jalen Hurts' record? Really good this year, right? So he has proven he still is a winner, whether you 10-3 or 10-2.
Right.
Dak Prescott. You in contract talks right now, right? You have a really good quarterback and a really good team coming in here. You already lost to the Eagles. You already lost to the Niners. Why am I going to pay you some big-time money to be the highest-paid quarterback if you can't beat these 2 teams? Because I'm going to tell you what, the Niners ain't going nowhere next year. The Philadelphia Eagles ain't going nowhere next year. Eventually, you are going to have to beat these boys, and you're going to have to beat them consistently. You already lost to them this year. So for me, all the pressure is on Dak Prescott. We have not had a topic up here and said, is Jalen Hurts the best quarterback in football? We ain't talked about that. But we have had one on Dak. We've had some MVP conversations on Dak. And we having them conversations, and he beat a 6-5 Seattle Seahawks team. When you talk about pressure, you have to deliver in this game, and Dak Prescott has to be the reason why, just like he was the reason why they beat the Seahawks, he has to be the reason why they beat the Philadelphia Eagles and beat a good football team. You are about to be the highest paid quarterback, or at least close, when you go through these negotiations. How are you going to pay somebody and you can't beat the best quarterbacks or the best teams in the league? So for me, all the pressure, it is all on the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott.
It's interesting though, Joy, because as James is talking, I don't know if I should switch my answer, Shady, or I don't know if I have the right answer as it is. If you are already the man, because you're talking about Dak, he might be the highest paid quarterback. Jalen Hurts is already there. Jalen Hurts is already making $51.5 million right now. I think he has $188 or so million guaranteed. How can you lose to Dak?
Got 10 wins this season, though.
Sure. But though Dak Prescott is playing better, we have to keep in that caveat, Dak's playing better. Because if we were all to say who's better, everybody would say Jalen. Yeah, we have to say Dak is playing better because Dak isn't actually better. So how can you be better and lose to Dak Prescott? At the beginning of the season, we all would have said Dak Prescott is anywhere from the 9th to 12th best quarterback in football. And we all would have said Jalen Hurts is top 5. So how in the world can you, Jalen Hurts, lose to little old Dak Prescott? That's what the world will say.
Really quick, if Jalen Hurts loses this game, are you going to think he's not a winner?
No.
If Dak Prescott loses, what you thinking?
He can't win the big ones.
But that's why there's more pressure on Jalen. There's more expectations of Jalen. There's more expectations of Jalen. Everyone is just aghast that Jalen Hurts is still at the top of the MVP conversation because he hasn't put up the statistics to cite the fact that they've run the NFC the entire season up until this point, that they've had a control of the division up until this point. If Dak plays well and they lose, he's still going to get the credit. I know it's very offensive to say, but every game that they've won this season hasn't been at the hands of Dak Prescott.
No, it hasn't.
There were games where the defense scored a majority of the points. Like that's not an opinion. That is what actually happened in real life. But that hasn't mattered because now when we talk about Dak Prescott, it's outrageous to even bring that up. People will be angry that I brought that up. But that's what's happened this year. So if you are Dak Prescott and you don't get this done, but you still play well, they're still going to be okay with that because that's been the narrative of this season. That's what came out of the Philadelphia Cowboys matchup the first time. Everyone expected the Cowboys to win because they've been blowing people out. They lost, and it was like, well, they lost, but Dak Prescott played great. but you lost.
Right.
So, okay, like if it's about Dak Prescott playing great, cool. That's what we're looking for. Or are we looking for this team to show that they're better than the Eagles right now at this point in the season? And that's what will get answered. But I don't think even if Dak Prescott plays well in this game, he's going to get the heat that Jalen would get if he played well and they lost.
Shady, I got a question for you. Resident All-Pro on the desk. What's harder? Is it harder playing from a space of already proving to the world that you are the man, which Jalen Hurts has already done, or is it harder trying to prove to the world that you are the man, which is what Dak Prescott is currently doing?
Real quick, so I remember you saying that you feel like Dak is getting better and Jalen's getting worse. So I feel like if that's the case, then who's the pressure really on? If one dude is just he's getting bad, the other one's getting better. So he should win this game because he's getting better, right?
In theory.
Okay.
But the question for me is like, Jalen is better. See, that's the disconnect for me. It's like somebody's getting better.
Right.
But somebody is better. So Jalen, for my money, should win the game because he is better. Dak is getting, when we talk about Dak, we have to keep saying he's playing better. Like, we have to say that because it's implied that he's not better.
No, but playing football, it's a momentum, it's confidence, it's swagger. And if one guy is struggling, no matter how much better he is than the other one's is not as good, but he's playing well. He got the swagger, he got the confidence. He can't miss. You have one of them games where you just can't miss. And I think Dak is on that roller coaster where he's going up, right? You know, it keeps going up. It stops a little, then it keeps going. He's there. So I think for this game, it has to be in Dak's favor to win. Everything is going your way. He's been looking great. And I'm saying this, and you know how I feel about, Dak Prescott as a player. He's playing so well right now that he can't miss. So you got to win this game. And at home, against a struggling Eagles, wounded team?
Let me ask you before we take it to break. Put yourself in the shoes of Dak Prescott.
We're not even
Put yourself in the shoes. Okay, at least rookie LeSean McCoy before you were an All-Pro. Okay. And then make yourself All-Pro LeSean McCoy.
So no decade, no
All-Decade team yet. No All-Decade team yet.
Okay.
First talk to me as rookie LeSean McCoy. Before you had ascended to the heights you've ascended to.
Yeah.
Then make yourself All-Pro LeSean McCoy. Which would be harder? The person who's trying to prove himself or the person who's already proved himself?
You know what? When I became the guy, that was a lot harder.
Yes.
When I could go against the defense, they was worried about Deshaun Jackson or Michael Vick or Jeremy Maclin. I can do my thing, right? But when you're on that bulletin board, watch 25, where is he going? What's he doing? Looking at his keys, what's he like to do? What's he hate to do? Right? What's his weaknesses? What's his deficiencies? All them type of things is way harder to compete against because now it's like you can't go under the radar, right? And another thing is when you're making a certain amount of money and you valued a certain way in the NFL, you always gotta stay at that resume, right? And every time you slip, it's a conversation, right? And I think the thing with Dak Prescott, he will never get that because he's not at that. People don't see him on that level yet, right? But when he's on that level, the top guys that we always talk about, like the Mahomes, Josh Allen, all them dudes, we always gonna chirp about when they slip because they're elite. Dak's not elite yet. I think he's having an elite year, kinda, right? So when he gets there, then we can talk about it. But until then, keep working, Dak. Keep working.
Well, we are not done talking.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.